This is Rod Kusin and Spooman for Risk. It is 2:13 Central Time, and we are shorting this. I don't have a strategy signal on this particular screen, but this is a short, and I want to show you why. We're going to bring the premium over here. All right, now the premium has been moving up, and typically that would suggest that this move is up. But this bar right here, that bar right there, is why we're going to short this move. This was a relatively new low on the ES. And as you can see, there's no divergence. There's no divergence here. So with that thought in mind, this becomes what we call a naked bar. And even though we had this big bar up here, right there, in fact, it's even off the screen, I think it was a new high. Yeah, it's relatively new high. Even with that big bar up, we have not been going higher on the premium now. We're getting, the spikes up are getting lower, not higher. So I'm anticipating that this market is going to short. Now, I'm not saying we're ready to short it right now, but what we should see happen here, what we should see happen here, we moved up to a lower high here, and now we just moved up to a lower high in here. So we should be looking at a short right around 27.30.25 if we can get it. I'm going to jump in right now and see if we can't get in here, because this should be coming down. At 1339.36, the ES was at a new low. Well, pardon me, a relatively new low. So let's bring that up here. Okay, that was right there. Okay. So we should be coming back down to 25.25 or less. And really, by the time this gets down there, what's the pattern of the day? Let's take a look here. The high of the day, all right, was in the first 5 minutes. Then we hit a low here, and therefore the low of the day, all right, ought to be toward the close, and we ought to be less than the low of the morning, which was 22.25. So yeah, we're short, and that's the direction we're going right now. And we expect this thing will hit a new low before the close of the market, but very close to the close, if not actually right into the after-hour market. We'll just have to see. So we're expecting a fairly good drop in here of 7 points, and very quickly dropping into 3 p.m. So we'll monitor this, and we'll come back. Although we don't have a signal, I'm very interested in shorting this right in here. The signal hasn't come in yet, and I'm not sure that it will unless I try to force it to, which we can do. All right, let's see if we can force it. Well, it's going to be tough without adjusting the code right now, which we can also do. Okay. We jumped in. We had a limit order at 30.75. And we got it. Okay, we're going to get a signal in here too. Go on, one more tick up. One more tick. There we go. Okay. We should get a signal in here. At least I'm hoping we do. Didn't last long enough. And let's take a look at our market conditions. Here's the premium now. There's that big spike up. Look at how the highs of the premium are dropping. The shorter moving average here is also in a negative trend, as is the longer moving average. She's ticking up. She's ticking up just a little bit. Another good opportunity to get 31.75 is a point of control. And it may be just trying to reach up there. So another limit order there would be smart. And you can see how the premium has been very nicely dropping. Now, from time to time, this will turn up and we'll hit another high before the final turn down. But I'm thinking it's a little too late in the day to expect that. I think this is going to continue to drop. Okay, we'll come back in a minute. Now, one of our premium strategies, this particular one here, did generate a short signal right there. And that's a major move on the premium. The conditions oops, there we are. Okay, so we use very simple conditions on this. We need the CCX trend down, that's on a 50-tick chart. The RSJ, which is the RSX JMA on the premium, that is down. The fast trends of the premium are down, and the major trend on the premium is down. And when that signal takes place, the faster trend on the premium has to be greater than the slower trend. So we'll show you. Now, actually, as it turns out, that's not the strategy that pulled that trade. It was this one, because this didn't require this particular condition. Oops, this condition. And that condition did not exist here, because the faster moving average was actually below the slower moving average. And that's why we got those signals. Okay, so at least now we confirm that. But we're going back up here. I don't like that. I don't like that. But looking at how low the premium is right in here, that's just a temporary turn up. That's all I can say. It's just temporarily turning up. And it'll, I would suspect, will likely fail to break above this slower moving average, and it'll turn, come back down, and will begin to drop once again. Now, I went ahead and just modified this strategy and put one more condition in here. And that condition was S12. And just a second, that's not correct. That needs to be on the third data feed. And we need to be monitoring that condition. And we just missed it. We just missed it. So I'm still short up here. I'm holding the short. I expect this thing to be plummeting. So it didn't get the signal. Wasn't anything I could do about it, but we saw the condition. here once again is what's happening to the premium. Now, by all rights, this move ought to test that high based on what we see happening with the premium here. But this could be lagging just a bit. So we drop this from 750 to 500. We'll take it down to 250. There's the drop. There's the drop. Okay, we're getting a little volatility in here. That's okay. Getting some signals here, but the only one I'm interested in is short. Okay, and the reason we got these signals all of a sudden is because I changed this from 500 to 250, which gave us a bit more volatility in the premium, which is simply being reflected in the strategy whose purpose is to tell me what the premium is doing. Okay. Now we're going to change this over. Change this back to a 1-minute chart. That should eliminate the signals over here, because the only time that this can give us a signal is if this is either greater than 100 for a short and less than negative 100 for a long. That's the strategy conditions here. Okay, let's go back to this premium. Now we have other strategies that are working on this particular chart. And that's not good. That was a new high on the premium. This is not working the way we expected it to. That's your fair value line, and we are above fair value. Ho ho. That's a new high. Okay, well, we may be wrong. We may be wrong here. Yeah, that new high on the premium, that's telling us a completely different story. That is not what we were expecting. We are going up, just as the premium said we were. And this is getting really late in the day. I think we're going to have to bail on this. This new high should not have taken place if this is going to short. Yeah, that's a new high for the day. That's just, that doesn't make any sense at all. Premium ought to be much lower at this point, and in fact, it's higher than it was during the morning rally up. So to the contrary, this is looking like it's going to continue moving up, not down. And what would need to take place is that we'd need to see the premium drop, then have it move up one more time to a lower high. Then maybe the short would materialize. But for it to drop as much as that bar suggested it would, which is an 8-point drop at this point. It could happen, but that's very doubtful. Very doubtful. No, I think we're going to need to bail on this expectation that this is not panning out. Okay. So for that reason, we reversed our position and we are long. Wait a second. Wait just a minute here. You're kidding me. You are kidding me. Oh, I see something here. I see something here that I don't like. Okay. The Spoos ought to be taking off strongly, and they're not. As you see this move up, the Spoos really ought to be moving up much more than they are. And for that reason, okay, all right, just look at where we're at. Here's this little dip, and we've moved way up to the high of the day. We're nowhere near this. This is going to turn, and it's going to come down, and when it does, so will the Spoos. We should be short. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Oh, trying to fool us, are you? See? See? This is going to come down. Ho, 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 ho. Yes, indeed. And now everybody's saying buy, 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 and then the premium is saying no, sell, 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 and we'll sell them to you. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, thank you, thank you. Yeah. No, I went short. I said no, 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 no. This is an opportunity to short this little baby because this don't make any sense. That was cool. Now, question is it going to keep up? And is it really going to drop? Because I tell you, the premium is, in fact, really high. But that's exactly what sometimes happens. The premium keeps on going up. The spoos don't go up. And so down, in fact, it goes. So don't let any of these false signals interfere. This is coming down. Wow, but its premium is still trying to make it move up. And ordinarily, that's what I would do. You know, I would look for an opportunity to go long. This was in the middle of the day, but in the afternoon, sometimes the premium acts really weird, and I think this is a good example of just that. Now we're just about at the closing bell, but and of course when that happens, your premium feed is dead. All right, we'll come back. Well, we're going to finish up this quick video. We pointed out how right in here, this was short based on what we saw happening with the premium, and that the low of today ought to be lower than the low of the morning. And that is exactly what happened after the close. So we'll just review that one more time. We'll take a look at the premium. And as the premium had been going up, the market had not. All right. And because the market was not responding as the premium went up, there was nothing left for the premium to do than to turn around and come back down. Now, it closed before it had the opportunity to do that. But nevertheless, the indication was that this market was going to turn around and follow a red day pattern with the lows in the late afternoon and, if necessary, after the close. That's what we said. That's just exactly what took place. And one of the specific points in time that was really compelling was where the premium was. I think it was right there. Yeah, that bar on the premium was very compelling at that low. Should not have been that low. And that's what gave us a real strong belief that this market was going to come back down. And then the other thing that I just finally noticed um, after the close, when we came down and hit this low of the morning and moved up and failed to make this new high, that was a real strong, compelling reason to short the market, which we did. But then we came down and hit this low. We moved back up briefly to a lower high, but we didn't get into a lower low here. And then we came into another lower high here, at least compared to this, and then we got a lower low here, and then a lower high here, which, it only makes sense. You're going to get to a lower low over here. So yes, indeed, we dropped right into the equal low of this morning at 22.25 for a red day pattern. Very much red day pattern from this high down to this low. Okay, that completes this quick and very interesting video. I'm Rod Kusin, Spooman for Risk.